Warning: the following podcast contains discussions of loss, panic attacks, and anxiety. This content may be triggering for some listeners.
Welcome to another episode of Conversations on the Couch. Today we have one of my all-time favourite and inspirational students, school teacher, mum, wife, principal, grandmother, retiree, and now runner, Maria Maffei. How are you? Welcome.
Thank you, Cass, and that was a mighty introduction. My gosh, yes.
I want to talk to you today because you are a very, very inspirational student of ours and person. But I think your story is something that can resonate and relate with so many people. And when I was writing my questions last night, I was like, there's so much I know a portion of your life, but I really want to know so much about your life. And I thought, we'll leave that for another time. I want to delve into your childhood and all of that another time. But I want to talk about your anxiety and I suppose some of those panic attacks that have plagued you. Because when we first met, I saw you and I met you as this amazing principal. You were poised,
in control.
The school was, ran like amazing. But I feel like you were this duck. You're very calm on top, but there was a lot of stuff.
A lot happening. Yes.
Happening underwater.
Yeah.
So, talk to me about when you first started to have panic attacks, that anxiety. How old were you? What sort of happened?
So I got my first one when I was 41 years old. I had a very late pregnancy end, which was quite traumatic. Because you're working and everyone was excited at work that there was another baby on the way and so forth, and I was very excited about that pregnancy actually because I'd found out that I was having a little girl, something that I had wanted because I had two boys already, and I thought it'd be nice to have a daughter, and so finishing work I was heavily pregnant because it was Christmas holidays. And then just before Christmas, everything happened, and it was my birthday when we had the funeral. So it was a very traumatic time. And I thought, well, I'm not pregnant anymore. School starting, I'll go back to work because why am I staying home? Yeah. So I went back on the first day, as the staff goes back before the kids. And I walked into the staff room because we have meetings and so forth. And the principal of the time then said to me, "Oh, Maria, are you okay?" Because it was quite obvious that there was nothing there. And he wasn't expecting to see me back so soon. And I just broke down in tears. And of course, everyone came around and comforted and whatever. And I just carried on, which was really difficult because you're holding everything in because especially when you're working with children, you don't want to show them that you're upset. It was all business. Everything was business, and back at home, my other two kids were young at the time, as I think Damien was 7 and Nathan was 5, and so I didn't want to have anything different for them at home. And my husband wasn't taking it very well either. He didn't know how to comfort me at the time, so it was like, well, I'll pretend that everything is okay. So I just kept everything bottled in. And then one night, I woke up and I thought, oh my God, I think I'm having a heart attack, or maybe I'm having a stroke. So, it's 2 a.m. and, Michael, you have to take me to the hospital. I think I'm dying. Yeah. So he drove me down to the hospital, and I said to him, look, just take me down and leave me there and come back for the kids. So he did that, but when we got to the hospital, I basically went into the fetal position and I just could not move. I was shaking all over. I just couldn't control anything. So, they ran tests and so forth. And when they told me, this is a panic attack. And I'm thinking, what? A panic attack? I don't have panic attacks. You're crazy. You need to check. I think it must be my heart, you know.
Yeah.
But no, it was a panic attack. And so I kept getting them during the night, which was really odd. Maybe because I was trying to be normal during the day, and then when you're relaxed, you know, your body takes over. So I'd be waking up 2-3 in the morning in a really, you know, full-blown attack. And then I started not sleeping because I was afraid to go to sleep. So that's when my doctor said, well, we have to break this cycle because you have to sleep. And so I was given medication, and I forget what it was, but it was for panic attacks.
Yeah.
And basically that was it, you know, take this and you'll be right. But, you know, when I started taking them, then I realised that I could not feel anything. I was like, you know, a disconnected person. All I felt was in my head.
Yeah.
So that's where I had sensation. I couldn't feel anything else in my body. So it was really, I thought, thinking back now, I thought, I wonder what it was like watching me walk, because I'd press my feet on the ground to make sure that I was making contact, because I wasn't sure whether I was on the ground or not.
Yeah.
So that for me was quite a scary part of my life. And so that lasted for probably about 6 months before I started to regain sensation, you know, in my body.
Yeah.
So, you know, you're running on automatic pilot, just doing things, because I could see that I was moving.
Yeah.
It's just that I couldn't feel anything. So that was I found very terrifying.
Yeah. I mean, the whole process. And did anyone from, you know, hospital to when you started having panic attacks help you through that process of dealing with loss?
No, that was never brought up.
Wow.
Which was really upsetting to think about now, because you think, you know, they should know more, but they didn't. And it was basically, right, we've given you the pills, you're right. So that was it. And I'm hoping that's very different nowadays, because this is going back quite a few years now. But back then, you know, it was, you know, you were left to your own devices really to work out how to manage yourself and cope with things.
I think maybe even it's such a hard one as well, you know, losing a pregnancy so late as well. You know,
what do you do?
What do you do?
But then that also sparked the onset of menopause. So it was a double whammy.
Oh my gosh. Oh wow, you had it all. You had it all happening.
It's all or nothing.
So, I mean, apart from the fact that you know, the doctor gave you some medication that, you know, put you in a bit of a cloudy state for some time, were you on medication for a while?
I was on for a while, but then because of the way I was feeling, I thought, I just don't like what this is doing to me. So I'm not sure how long I was on it, but in the end I decided that, I can't do this. And I slowly weaned myself off of it, but didn't replace it with anything either, which, you know, looking back, you know, hindsight is a wonderful thing, you know, when you can reflect on your life and think, I should have done things a little bit differently, but, you know.
And as you know, moved on, and, you know, you're a mum and a wife, and obviously going from a teacher to principal, how were you with that anxiety and that mental health? Was it still there, or undercurrent?
The anxiety, and the anxiety is still with me, but I learned how to manage it. So I would talk myself, if I felt like I was becoming anxious or, you know, worried about something, I would talk to myself and say, well, this is, you know, the scary bit is not real. This is, you know, your heart racing. It's just racing because you're frightened. So it's all okay. You're not dying. You're not having a heart attack. You're not having a stroke, and just talking myself down. So I found that really helped me. And then I started just talking to people, which I hadn't done. So this is years down the track. And I found what kept me from talking to people and just getting it out, so that I'm not bottling up all of these emotions. So that was when I started thinking, well, you know, this has happened, it's real. there's no shame in it.
No.
There's no shame that I've been on medication and that I suffer panic attacks. And then the more I started talking about it, the more other people around me started saying, oh yes, I get panic attacks, or my daughter gets panic attacks. And that sort of opened it up. But in the process too, though, I learned very much how to keep things in control. Mm-hmm. So keeping things inside. So like you said before, the exterior seemed very calm and controlled, but inside it was a lot of paddling around.
Yeah. I want to touch on movement and fitness. Mm-hmm. When you're a kid, did you play any sports or?
Well, because I grew up with very strict parents, and they didn't believe in that sort of stuff because, being first generation Australian here, and they'd come from, poverty and the end of war and depression and all of that. So they wanted to ensure that we had a good education. So education was paramount for my parents. And so it was, you've got to study, you've got to make sure you do your work. But I participated in the normal PE activities at school. So I think one of my favourites was tennis, and we used to play netball, and skipping was a big fad back in my era, and elastics. So some people these days may not know what elastics was, but and that was really got your heart going because it was very, very active. And then later on, I did also some social volleyball as well. Yeah. So and before I moved schools, we'd started up a little fitness club as well, and so we did just boxing and things like that. But as a school child, no. Apart from in the holidays and after school, when it was the done thing that you'd be out in the streets until the lights went on, and then you went home. So bike riding and just playing cricket out in the middle of the roads, which was safer then. But that sort of stuff I did, but not really competitive sports.
And what challenges did you have? You're retired now, but you had a busy, exhausting role, being a mum, a wife, a teacher,
you don't have time
principal.
for yourself.
What challenges did you have in maintaining that that balance of doing it all? What did you give us?
And I think probably women often find themselves in that situation where you're last on the list, so everything comes first. You've got your family, your work, and as you get older like me, you've got aging parents as well who need support too. So the easiest thing to give up is looking after yourself. So I'll go for a walk, which happened on and off, and then sometimes it would be either very late in the evening that I had any time to go out for walks, and then in the neighbourhood you get some scary people, and I said to my husband, I'm not going anymore by myself because it's just too scary, and you just don't do that sort of stuff because you just don't fit. You think you don't have time to fit it in. That's what I thought back then. My thinking has changed now.
So as a woman, a professional woman, I know for myself we tend to put burden and stress to try and create this, I don't know, this semblance of being able to do everything, and be everything to everyone. How do you think that sort of relates to, like stress, panic attacks, anxiety?
Well, it's living up to that expectation, isn't it? Because it's a societal thing. Everyone thinks that, that's your role, that's what you do. And I'd also been brought up that, as a woman, well, it's your responsibility to also look after the house and the kids. You don't ask for help because then you're a failure. So, that plays a big role of thinking, well, if I can't do that, then there's something wrong with me and I have failed. So you try and put it put all of that out of your head and just continue on doing what you're doing.
And it's so funny that we're even talking about this, because I mean, even the other day I was speaking to one of our students who was having a bit of a bad day, and you sort of think that we live in this world where we're not still feeling that way. But this young mum was crying because she didn't know what her kid was going to eat, because he's so fussy at the moment, and he can only eat 2 foods, and hubby won't pick up the washing, and
it's tough.
It is tough. I just told her to let it go. Doesn't
and,
matter.
And that's it. And we worry so much about being perfect in everything that we do. And, getting it wrong is normal.
Yeah.
And you learn from that, you pick up and do it differently next time. So, yeah.
So if you could give a mum, teacher, busy woman some advice from your lived experience, what would you say to them today?
Make time for yourself. Prioritise yourself, because if you're not healthy, both physically and mentally and emotionally and spiritually, you're not going to serve anyone else, because you're already running at half tank. So I think really prioritise yourself, and don't be embarrassed about making time for yourself. I've certainly learnt that now, and eventually everyone will accept, oh, this is mum's time. Well, this is my wife's time or my partner's time, and it just becomes part of your routine. So definitely prioritise yourself, make time to look after yourself, and do something that you love doing.
Best advice ever. Best advice ever. Now, we're going to talk about Power to Move just a tiny bit. I still remember the first time I met you.
Yes. Oh gosh.
So Power to Move was, I think it was our 3rd or 4th out of hours school care program that we were running, and we'd done a few of those. And I think it was one of your executive assistants contacted me and said that she wanted to do a yoga. Do I do teachers?
Yeah, our wellbeing coordinator.
Wellbeing day.
That's their new title. Yes.
And so we did. I had a bit of a chat, and we did yoga, and then you asked me to come back, and we did yoga sessions with a few of you
staff,
after school, which was really great. And then COVID happened.
Yes.
And then we connected, and you asked to do some fitness. And I do remember our first fitness session.
Oh, I do too.
Because it was a struggle. In fact, it was really hard. We couldn't even finish parts of our fitness test.
Which that really shocked me, actually, because I thought I did a lot of walking, and you know how big the campus was. So I used to travel that, I'd get, sometimes 20,000 steps up in a day. And I thought, well, why can't I do
2 minutes?
2 minutes. 2 minutes. I thought I was so out of breath. I couldn't believe it. Yeah.
And I remember the first 12 weeks, and I don't know if you remember this, but we were in the old gym that we were renting, and I remember you just coming in one day and going, that's it.
Yes,
that is it. I'm done. I don't want to be like this anymore. I don't want to be an old lady. I want to get fit. And I just remember, I think you even swore, and you don't swear. I swear.
No.
But I think you dropped a couple of pearly words. What on that day? What was that drive? What was that passion where you went, that's it, I'm done?
I think because I had started to see some progress, even though it was small. I had started to see some progress, and then I thought, I don't want to be this weak thing that can't do anything, and I want to end up well into old age, and I want to be strong and mobile and able to do things for myself and live independently for as long as possible. So, and I think too, it was because I've just lost my dad, but at that time we were helping with looking after him, and I thought, he's 90, he would have been about 90 then, and I'm thinking, now if he can live an active life at 90, and why can't I, and why should I be so held down by my lack of mobility and my pains, because I don't know if you remember, shoulder pain, but also sciatica. But my shoulders, I could barely move, and I thought, I can't be like that. I just have to change it. So that was the defining moment of saying, that's it, I've had enough.
And you have been so transformational. In fact, I wish Maria wouldn't let me take any measurements at the beginning.
No,
we don't do
I was
weigh-in,
terrified.
but you were so terrified. And so we don't actually really know what the beginning really looked like now.
Which I regret, because when we did our one of our measurements, I thought, I wish I'd known what I was before, because I know that I've changed, but I don't know how much.
It would be exponential anyway. So now that you have got this journey that you've been on, you've had a history with panic attacks and the anxiety, and now, I mean, we could classify you as a gym junkie.
Yes.
How do you think movement has helped you deal with anxiety, panic attacks, mental health?
Well, it's certainly taken over what the medication did without the horrible side effects. And I think one of the reasons why I contacted you after you'd been to school to do some of the after school sessions with the staff was the fact that I was feeling so good. And it was a stressful period. I mean, we were going through COVID. There'd been some traumatic incidences that I had experienced as well. And it just seemed to fill in that gap where I thought, well, I don't want to have medication. Not that came into my mind at all, because I didn't like it. But the fact that I thought, I feel so good. It's such a great stress relief, and I'm getting so many other benefits from it. Yeah. So that was really probably the biggest influence on deciding it's time to make that change.
It's time to move.
So, time to move. And certainly having, movement, you do get the endorphins flowing while you're moving. I just felt so good. So that was the deciding factor, and it's kept me coming. So
movement makes you feel good.
Yeah.
Over the years, you have been such an inspiration and motivation for many of our students who are here at the gym. You're strong and no problems in the shoulders anymore. Last year you won our plank challenge.
Yes.
So we do a plank challenge every year, and you did it in 5 minutes and 52 seconds. Was it 57?
No, 6 minutes.
Oh, that was Seth's time.
6 minutes and 15 seconds.
6 minutes and 15 seconds, even longer. I mean, just crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy that this person 2 years prior couldn't complete the fitness test.
No.
And then we're doing plank challenges. And then this year we started our running club. And we had, over the years, we've talked about doing longer distance walks and things. And
like the walks.
We started with walks, but I sort of put in the running.
Yes.
And only a few weeks ago, you did your first competition, the Maiponga Loop, which was run by the Great Southern Running Club. You came third
in my age group.
Isn't
that wonderful?
Is just amazing. And because of your success and your story, and you're so humble and you're so amazing, we've got more people that want to join our run club now.
I'm glad, yes.
But tell me about that journey from, going through the running and now we're planning a half marathon.
Yeah. Because it all started when you had the fun run, the Power to Remove fun run, and so I set my goal of walking, but I wanted to do the 12k distance. And then I thought, maybe my next challenge is to do 1 kilometre running continuously without a break, because that was, I thought I should be able to achieve that. And then from the 1 kilometre, it ended up being, I could possibly do 3 kilometres.
Yeah.
So I did that. And so it's just very gradually if I do 5, 7 is only 2 more than 5. So it can't be that bad. So we just keep thinking, and even today when we went for the 8, we thought, it's only 4 kilometres up and 4 back. So 4 kilometres, I can do 5 kilometres. 4 is easy.
4 is easy,
so just breaking it down that way has really helped. And Yeah, I'm just finding that with Eleanor, my running buddy, that, you know, she helps me to run faster, but I can't sustain her speed. But certainly it's helped me even today to run the 8K faster than I did the 7K a couple of weeks
at
ago.
At the Maponga, yeah. So today we had an 8K run on our training plan, and Maria ran faster than the 7Ks at Maponga.
Maria Maffei. Maria just completed the first 0 to 5. Well done. Alan Lynn loves starting and finishing. Maybe not so the middle.
Maria, all the way.
Danny Field, Marshall Field coming across together.
Woo!
Megan Raggio.
I'm surprised at how quickly, you know, I've built up the speed over a short period of time.
It's because you've got a good foundation of training.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. With your guidance, definitely. Yeah.
Now that I know you're retired and we see you every day, what keeps you motivated to train and more importantly to move each day?
Well, certainly the fact that I feel so good now and I don't have pain. You know, some mornings I used to have pain getting out of bed, like back pain. I don't have that anymore. The fact that I can play with my grandson, so we play soccer in the backyard and go for walks and bike rides. Well, he rides, I walk, and just being able to do all of that without feeling old. Basically, I feel really quite rejuvenated, and I don't find that any of the movements. I mean, they're tough, but I don't find that there are things that I can't do. And if there are things that I can't do, that I think I can't do, then it's just changing that mindset to, well, you know, you just have to give it a go.
Yeah.
And, you know, if you can always do a modification and then build
Work
up
towards
to the full move of whatever it is. So, yeah, but definitely. And I think the endorphins really kick in with the running, because I know that while we're running, I'm sort of thinking, oh, when are we going to end? When are we going to end? And then we finish and we thought, you know, the first thing I say is, oh, that was really good. And then I want to go for another one straight away. And you're sort of thinking, well, that's not too bad then, is it? So, but feeling more positive in myself. I know I'm eating better. Probably not as good as I should be eating, but I'm certainly eating better. And just the impact on the family as well, I think is really positive, and that just keeps me going. So
they must be so proud and inspired by watching your journey, I'm sure. So one more question before I've got my 10.
Yes.
What advice do you have for anyone right now who might be filled with anxiety, maybe even a little bit of dread, or scared to start moving or doing something towards their health and well-being? Like, what would you say to them?
I think just put those thoughts out of your head, and I know that that's quite hard because the first step is always the hardest.
Yeah.
But you know, to find something that you're really, you know, have just even a tiny little bit of speck of interest in doing, and do that. And I know that here at Power to Move, there are so many different classes that you can try out. And even if you don't do a full class, but just to get an idea of what it's like. And because you have videos posted on some of the exercises like step and the cardio moves, even just looking at those and thinking, well, I could do some of that. You don't have to do all of it. And I find that here too, everyone is really supportive and everyone backs you. So no matter where you are at, you know, you're getting that. You just have to just give it a go.
Give it a go.
Even if it's only, you know, you come in for, 10 minutes or so and just see. I think
I agree.
It's important.
Just come and feel, even if it's not our gym, if it could be anywhere, even if it's just going down to a park and sitting in a park and going, I'm out of the house, I'm in a space.
Yes.
And then the next step is maybe going for a little walk.
Yeah, just taking that step outside your door is really important. Yeah.
Absolutely. Maria, it's been a pleasure speaking to you, but I do have 10 questions. Now, the deal with these is one answer.
Okay.
First thing that pops into your head.
Okay.
Fiction or non-fiction?
A fiction.
Sweet or savoury?
Savoury.
Burpees or squats?
Squats.
Mount Lofty or a plank hold?
Oh, that's a tricky one. Maybe a plank hold.
Favourite all-time movie?
Oh, I've got a few. Probably Avatar.
To become Aronyu, Hunter, you must choose your own Ikran, and he must choose you.
When?
When you are ready.
What's the best gift you've ever been given?
Love.
If you're a superhero, what power would you have?
Oh, that's very tricky. Gosh. Superhero. Maybe strength.
I think you have a lot of that. Favourite family recipe?
Oh, eggplant palmy.
And I've had that. She's amazing at making it.
I love eggplants.
I love eggplant too. Celebrity you would invite to dinner?
Be a toss-up between Katharine Hepburn, I know she's not alive, or Audrey Hepburn.
Oh. One word to describe you.
Determined.
And that's it. Maria Maffei, it's been
Thank you.
amazing.
Thank you.
amazing.
Thank you.
Mwah. Thank you. She is such an inspiration.
Thank you.
Conversations on the couch.